automatically compared to if you have a diploma. So you can see that through some of these policies, remuneration is going. But if you look at the senior high schools, we created an intervention program that enabled teachers, our schools to receive 70 cedis per child, extra incentive for teachers, and we paid it promptly this year before school was over. So we are not oblivious of the need to incentivize teachers. As I speak with you, I'm running to Accra because we are negotiating with the World Bank to do over $117 million grant and loan agreement to help the basic schools transform itself and increase incentives, additional funding, core learning grants, and in addition to capitation grants so that resources will be available to teachers and to schools to support transformation. So there are a number of things that the government is doing in that area. But you see, if you look at the difference in performance between private and public schools, you attest to the fact that there is no remuneration, but building systems that support teachers and hold school leaders to account is one of the reasons why a school with non-qualified teachers will post higher performance in the private setting than our public schools. So there are a lot to be said about what we need to do, and it's multifaceted, and you need to approach it from all angles. If you take one issue and think that is the be it and all, you do it and you see that the improvement will elude you. You see, we need to have a sense of urgency in this country. I'm looking forward to the day when Director General and others, and now we're doing it. They are signing performance contract. The Director General of Ghana Education Service signs a performance contract with the Minister for Education. Never happened before. And it's happening. And people are going to hold to account. Let me tell you, talk about attitudinal change. In the places where things have changed, it was not just preaching about attitudinal change. No. Nobody changes because you are preaching to him to change his attitude. People don't change. People need to be held to account to perform. They are being paid for the work. So the idea that I should come and beg my professor to change his attitude so that UEW can be the best in the world, no. I want the board of governors to hold him to account with measured key performance indicators that he needs to meet, and in case he doesn't and fails to receive the support that the board gives to him, then maybe he doesn't have a place at UEW. That should be the norm. That should be the norm. By the end that I'm going to pray and say that, if only the nurses will change their attitude. People around the world don't just change their attitude because we preach to them, but people are held to account. And if they don't do well, they are supported. Then they say to themselves, I don't want to do well. Then they don't belong there. There will be nothing that we can do to change everybody's attitude. No, we'll just be playing games with ourselves. You're supposed to come to work and get paid. You didn't come the first week. I called you and said, let's change it. The next week, you choose not to come at all. And then you keep on not coming. And you want me to preach about change your attitude. No. At that point, it's not about your attitude. You demonstrated to me that you can't do the work. And if we don't have the political will and the leadership to stick to that, we are not going to be able to change the country. We are not. I call it that Amel's moment. The Lord bless his soul. Went to the port, lamented about the people taking bribes and all the bad things, and it was a fiery speech of a distressed president. What happened after that? You can do that. People don't change their attitude because you are begging them to change. You hold them accountable for the change that they are being paid for. So the work that they are being paid for to execute. And I think, just like we hear about the trash and people throwing trash everywhere and we complain about, when we start taking them to court, we see that attitudinal change coming. So, in all this, when we talk about attitudes, we should also talk about accountability and we should talk about recognition. If people do well, they ought to be recognized. When they don't do well, they ought to be held accountable. And then you begin to see that the attitude is changing. So change is not going to come because we are wishing for change to come, but we need to also hold people to account. So, talking about support for schools, bringing the support, the World Bank is bringing a lot of money to help change basic schools. Head teachers are going to be trained. By the way, we are going to institute the program through my senior brother here, training for people before they can head schools. How do you want to be a headmaster because you taught for 20 years? No, you are about to retire. Go on your retirement in peace. But if you teach 5 years, you have leadership skills, we are not going to ask you to stay in the classroom for 20 years. You go for training at Winneba, you hold your administrative, you hold your degree, you take your license, you become a headmaster so that you have 35 years ahead of you to change the system. And I don't think anybody who has 35 years ahead of them will go and mess up and be dismissed as a headmaster. Because you know your whole world has changed. Your wife will beat you at home. So you are careful when you have 30 years ahead of you and you have a rare opportunity of going through the system and becoming a headmaster, right? Now, if you look at what we have now, every year about close to 15-20% of our headmasters retire. You get to become a headmaster. Some people have 2 years of retirement. And when they become a headmaster, with all due respect, you are about to retire because you are tired. So 2 years, I can change my schools for you. You are prepared for retirement. So things have to change. I think we can't wish it for ourselves. The good things that happen to other nations, if we don't do the same things that those nations have done. So we have the political role to ensure that change can, and not change can because of us as I thought, but change can because of those poor children on the streets, whose parents are struggling to give them a spare meal a day, and who come to our schools, and instead of using the school as an opportunity to move up, we fail them. That we should not continue to do. And if you are leading, you are district director, municipal director, I believe you should be given flexibility to run the district in exchange for higher accountability. So that when you make decisions, you know that we'll be held accountable. And therefore, I have to make sure that my schools do well. I know that there were questions about grade science and license and exams. You see, the thing is this. If you have a licensure exams, I did learn economy. But I became a mathematics teacher in the US because there were some math courses I needed to take. Once I took that, my math economy did not matter. And then I had to take a licensure exam to demonstrate that I can teach. And once I did that, my undergraduate degree was of no consequence. So with the licensure that is coming, it takes away that issue. That, oh, you didn't go agree in high school, why are you coming to teach agree? So with the licensure, you are demonstrating that you can teach agree, and therefore you can teach agree. And that becomes a non-issue. But I also have the business students. I spoke with one of the principals of colleges of education. And interestingly, she told me that there's no requirement. There's nothing against accepting business students in colleges of education. She told me she happened to be the former president of PRINCOP, the Association of Principals. And he said there's no requirement. It's just the head of schools using their own judgment. And in fact, she told me that after that, she accepted business students who did accounting and finance and all those at the high schools, and she told me they do better even than some of the other students. So we are working on that too, because it's not understandable that because I did agree, I've also done all the 4 core subjects. And I may have gotten some very good grades, and then you tell me that I cannot come and do come to college of education and become a teacher. So my senior, we work on that and make sure that we can remove that as a bottom. But your comments, I will leave it because you're a senior guy, you understand what you're saying. So they were good comments, and I'm not going to comment on my senior's comments. So you talk about policies, right? A professor of mine at the University of Southern California, who was the prize of Professor Randall, said something. He said in Africa, the road to hell is paved with policy. He said they craft the best best policies in the world but no implementation. So you are right. And we have to change it. I was talking to my brother about what this university can do to change the schools around us. Let us see policy in action. We are the first class university in education, if not in Africa, at least I can say in West Africa or Ghana. Why is it that we have failed schools around? This is where policy hits, the road, and the rubber hits the road, and we begin to change. So, partner with my director of education, and I'll come and facilitate the meeting. Let's look at all the things that are and then we need the major human resources sitting on this campus to get into the classroom, get those doing education to breathe with the children. And let us tell the whole world that Winnipeg knows have a pathway for transformation of schools. Because you are doing it in your community. There's no reason why you cannot adopt some schools and use the policies here to transform those schools and allow other schools to come and learn from the schools in Winnipeg. But if we sit here as a premier education institution and the schools around us are failing, then we have a major policy disease. Because most of the policies are coming from here. So let Winnipeg be an example of where policy means practice. And where we do all the right things. And sometimes the funding will be available, not from you. Other agencies can come to the table and provide funding, stipends for the student readers to go into the schools. And if the students are assessed and they can read at a certain level, the university can have a stipend for that student, like a scholarship for that student who went and read with the students at the schools. Winnipeg can lead the way in policy implementation so that the rest of the country can follow and begin to see that that's how you bring about policy implementation. But I also will appeal to people that you have to dream big. I'm the MD for children. The least I can do is, since I'm the Deputy Minister of Education, I have a guest land building, I take it to my constituency, I'm done, right? But I decided I should not be that kind of MP. And I'll be the MP that dream big. And therefore, I'm building a Bushel-trained STEM academy, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics Academy. If you go to the Bushel-trained STEM Academy now, we have about 4 buildings under construction, some funded from my own common fund. It's a basic school from KG to junior high, and in that school, we are building a science lab, even though it's a junior high. We are building a library, even though it's a junior high. When a student is moving from one classroom to the other, they are not worried about the rainfall or anything. They're going to go under a covered canopy. That is what I want for my constituency. I want those students to feel so good about themselves that they can become the best in the country. Within the next 10 years, I want to create a pipeline for 100 people to become engineers in my constituency and 100 and I have an action plan to achieve that. I have a committee and I'm going to work with universities that can bring interns there. I have people from the US who are so excited they want to come and support. If we dream big, great things will happen. It's easier to do a great thing than a small thing. Because the campus looks so beautiful, when I say to people, they are giving donations. Because they say, wow, this is going to be a campus in Ghana, I want to be part of it. People want to be part of big things. But if you say to yourself it's not possible, you are not going to ask people to be part of big things that you are doing. So the moment you say to yourself that and I will want a headmaster or lamentations of a headmaster. The teachers don't want to teach. I don't know what to do. And the students are not learning. That is why my school is not doing well. You ask the headmaster, what is the percentage of your students who passed the WASI with A1 to 66 credits last year? Headmaster doesn't know. But he's lamenting that his teachers are not teaching. So the lamentations of a headmaster or headmaster or district director of education then stop them from looking for partnership and innovation, approaching the University of Winnipeg and say, how can you help me? You have counseling students. Can some of them come and help counsel my students? Because you don't have a sense of urgency and don't believe that your schools will change, the resources are sitting there, you are not tapping it, and you are blaming the victim. The victim is that student who is in your school, and you, the headmaster, have never motivated him. But you are blaming him. I visited a girls' school in Mass. I walked into the class. There were 50 students in physics class. Being that the American side was so excited. 50 girls in a physics classroom means 25 of them can become engineers. I was super excited. So I asked them, how many of you want to be engineers? No hand went up. Because they've never done a career fair at that school. Women engineers have never been invited to the school to talk to the girls. To know that when you do physics, you're going to be an engineer. These are low-hanging fruits that we can achieve if we believe that everything is possible. So I told the headmistress, you know what I'm going to do? Bring them to Accra, and next week my assistant have organized their coming. We're taking them to a private school that does engineering, very nice one for them to see how engineering schools look like. Those 50 girls are coming to Accra, and I'll host them. They are not from my constituency. They are the children of Ghana. I'm going to host them. I want to meet with them, talk to them. And it is my hope that out of the 50, at least 25 will become engineers. And we're going to create a pipeline for the 200 girls who are doing fixes at that school in the second year to get half of them to become engineers. It's easy, it can be done. The universities, unfortunately, are sitting there and they are not sending their counselors to go to the school and motivate the children to apply to become engineers. So sometimes I also don't want to blame the victim because I can't expect somebody to do what they don't know. So what I have to do is to work with people like you to make sure we can do workshops for heads of schools on these issues, for district director of education on these issues, and get some funding to host them, to motivate them, so they come here and the counselor can put up a program looking at how do we create a pipeline for girls in engineering. And just do it. Because it can be done. I believe that if we all begin to realize that our best days ahead of us as a nation, we'll do more. But don't box yourself into a specific and a defined role. Most of you have heard of the Methodist girls. They went abroad and brought the Spanish, right? But the Sunday before they were leaving, the Wednesday before they were leaving, they left on Sunday. Wednesday they came to my office. It was 5:30 a.m. I was getting ready to leave for Kumasi, and they came with lamentations that they need 100,000 cedis to go to the US. They have their visa, but they've only been able to raise 20,000. If you were the deputy minister for education, what would you do? The first thing is, oh, can the ministry get you money? That was out of question. The ministry doesn't have any money sitting there. GS doesn't have any money sitting there. But I was not going to not allow the opportunity that they are going to get to happen. So what did I do? 5:30, I was leaving for class. I said, okay, I'm not here the next day, not the next day. I won't be here before you depart. I started calling my friends. I called them and said, my this girl needs to go. We need money. 5,000, 4,000, 10,000. Within 30 minutes, we have raised 60,000. And it was my responsibility? No. But I felt that the girls need to go. And lo and behold, they went and they won. If I look at myself as a deputy minister in that capacity, that was not part of my job description. But I was seeing myself as somebody who had the opportunity and the capacity to make sure those girls' dreams will come true. And it came. After raising the 60,000, we had 80,000. I called the head of government and said, out of 20, we have to. And he did. But he couldn't have done 80,000 or 100,000. So if we are determined that we can do something, it will happen. But if we give ourselves excuses and talk to ourselves and say, if only the Director General will change, if only the students will change, if only this government will change, everything will be nice. We'll lament to ourselves and the food is better now than it was. Now at least headmasters don't worry about food because the food goes to them. But we don't get credit for that, so the food is not good. The food was never good, though. But we are trying our best to make the food good. Now, on a serious note, when we did Free Senior High School and double track, the President of the Republic made a pledge to Ghanaians that he will get rid of it in 5 to 7 years, right? A number of times people just take every politician for who we have said politicians are. That is, if we say something, it's not meant to be done. So there's a chief in my village who told me about a school building. I didn't say that. I didn't promise him. A week after that, the school building came and said, "Oh, now we cast a politician and they will cast on Kramun. And they will country." So when the president made the pledge, it created a sense of urgency for my minister to look for ways of making sure the 5 to 7 years promise is fulfilled. And that's what we have to do as a minister. The president says anything is the law, even if it's not the law. For you as a minister, whatever president says is the law. So we had to go to work. My minister sat down with me and said, how do we do this? Then an idea came that, why don't we look at the amount of money that Get Fund will get in 10 years? And do just like what we do in America and other places around the world. In the US, you don't wait for the money to come every year, if it's tax money, every year, and then you do something small and small and small, and 20 years you finish the building. No. If you have a dedicated funding source, what you look at is in 10 years, how much money am I going to make? Then you sit down with banks and other investors and say that I have this amount of money that's supposed to come to me in 10 years, and it's going to come. Can I borrow against 40% of it? And then give me the money now. I will do what I need to do to make sure the schools have classrooms. And within 10 years, as the money is coming, I will pay you back. And that is what we call Get Fund securitization. So we realize that if we only take 40% of the money that will come to Get Fund in 10 years, it will give us $1.5 billion. Something you will never get from the World Bank. Nobody will borrow that amount to you. Then that became money. 1.5 billion, a lot of money to complete uncompleted building at universities and high schools across the country and change some basic schools. So we went to cabinet. They approved 1.5 billion Get Fund securitization. We went to parliament. It was approved. My minister got the first 500 million released to us. If you go to every senior high school that is on double track, some construction is going on. We've awarded contract for 800 buildings, classroom, and dorms, and we virtually created the money from thinking. So if you have a sense of urgency and think everything is possible, the money will come. If the president did not do Free Senior High School, we wouldn't have done the 40% Get Fund securitization to build schools. Where were we going to get the money? Who will give you 1.5 billion? But the initiative brought a sense of urgency. Now 500 million has come. The next tranche is going to go to university to support them, to complete infrastructure and build new ones so that they can absorb Free Senior High School graduates coming. I'm telling you, once you believe that something is possible, God has given you a mind that will change everything. We're using 5% of our brain. The rest is sitting there. And I always tell people when they talk about Ghana cannot do, I say if you have presented this problem to Americans, they will go to what, like a conclave. By the time they come out, they have a solution. Why are we minimizing ourselves? We are smarter than most people around the world. But we are not using the potential. We are caught up in this lamentations. And once you get caught up in the lamentations, you not get 1.5 billion because the World Bank won't give it to you. China won't give it to you. Nobody will give it to you. But the money is sitting here. The money is sitting here. But our mindset has not changed for us to begin to look at how do we do this. But the moment you are boxing, the president boxes in 5 to 7 years, we're saying to ourselves, where is the money? Then our brain went to work under the leadership of the minister, and the money came. And now the money is working. The money was not there by itself. So I just want you to know that yes, there are some challenges, and the WAEC issue. Last year, I solved the problem in my office. If it has come back, we'll sit down again. They were not going to allow you to register last year, and I brought them together, and it was resolved that they can use the continuous assessment from the previous year. If they brought up the concern, let me know. We'll sit down with them again, because to me, to say that people cannot register unless they do the private, Now, those who are doing private, are they bringing continuous assessment?
Yeah, exactly.
They are not. So if somebody is going back to school to do the regular examination, all that you need to do is be creative and innovative and say that your continuous assessment from the previous year can count. So private schools, you can come to me, we'll sit down with them. And I believe that to every problem, there's a solution. And we can solve them. Thank you.